The plasma rifles hummed with deadly energy as Commander James Morrison led his strike team through the crystalline caves of Dracoris Prime. Intelligence had been clear. Eliminate the dragon matriarch before she could spawn another generation of the creatures that had been terrorizing human colonies across the Outer Rim. Thermal signatures ahead, whispered Sergeant Lisa Chen, her scanner painting red dots on her visor display. 1 large, 3 small, the matriarch and her offspring. James nodded grimly. The Draconic War had raged for 15 years, ever since humanity had encountered these massive, intelligent reptilians during the expansion into the Kepler sector. What had started as a territorial dispute had escalated into a species-wide conflict when the dragons began systematically attacking human settlements. The team moved through the narrow passages, their boots crunching softly on the mineral deposits that lined the cave floor. James had led dozens of these extermination missions. Each dead dragon meant safer colonies, safer families. It was simple mathematics of survival. They reached the main chamber, weapons raised. The sight before them was exactly what the briefings had described. A massive dragon, easily 30 meters from snout to tail, her obsidian scales dulled with age and exhaustion. 3 smaller forms huddled near her great head, juveniles, maybe a year old, still bearing the iridescent sheen of youth. Target acquired, James whispered into his comm, finger hovering over the trigger. Preparing to, please. The word stopped him cold. It hadn't come through his translator. It had been spoken in perfect, accented English. His eyes darted to Lisa, who had lowered her weapon slightly, her face pale behind her visor. Please don't hurt us, came a smaller voice, trembling with fear. One of the juveniles had lifted its serpentine head, golden eyes reflecting the harsh glare of their tactical lights. Mommy is dying. James's training screamed at him to fire. Dragons were cunning, manipulative. They'd learned human languages from captured prisoners. This was a trap. But the matriarch's breathing was labored, her great chest rising and falling in irregular patterns. Green blood pooled beneath her, and her massive head rested heavily on the cave floor. The juveniles pressed closer to her, their distress evident in every line of their small bodies. It's a trick, muttered Private Rodriguez through the comm. Command says they use psychological warfare. She's not fighting, Lisa observed quietly. Look at her, James, she's protecting them. The matriarch's enormous eye fixed on James, and for a moment he saw something that shattered his worldview. Not the cunning intelligence of a predator, but the desperate love of a mother. When she spoke, her voice was a whisper of pain and resignation. My children have never known war. They have never attacked your kind. Each word seemed to cost her tremendous effort. I am dying from your weapons, from the poison you put in the water of our homeworld. But they are innocent. James felt his certainty crumble. The official reports had never mentioned poison. They'd been told the dragons had started the war, that they were natural aggressors. But this creature's words painted a different picture entirely. The water? Lisa stepped forward, ignoring protocol. What poison? The matriarch's massive head turned toward her with visible effort. Your, terraforming machines. They changed. Our water made it toxic to us. We only attacked your colonies because we were dying. We needed new homes. One of the juveniles, barely larger than a horse, crept forward. Its voice was high and afraid. The other grown-up said, Humans were monsters, but you stopped. You didn't shoot. Are you good humans? James's weapon suddenly felt impossibly heavy. 15 years of war, thousands dead on both sides, and it had all started because of a terraforming accident that no one had bothered to investigate. Lisa, he said quietly, scan the matriarch for toxicity markers. His sergeant ran her medical scanner over the dying dragon. The results appeared on both their displays. Massive organ failure consistent with heavy metal poisoning, the exact signature of industrial terraforming runoff. My God, Lisa breathed. James, we've been killing them for trying to survive what we did to them. The smallest juvenile approached James directly, its scales shifting color in what he somehow knew was a gesture of trust. "Will you help Mommy? Please? We don't know how to make the hurt stop." James made a decision that would change the course of the war. He holstered his weapon and activated his emergency medical beacon. "Command, this is Strike Team 7. We need immediate medical evacuation. Xenobiological emergency." -7. Complete the mission. "I'm countermanding that order, Command. We're bringing them home." The matriarch's eyes widened in surprise. "Why would you help us?" James knelt beside her great head, no longer seeing a monster but a dying mother. "Because that's what humans do when we realize we've made a mistake. We try to fix it." 3 months later, Dr. James Morrison stood in the observation deck of the first joint human-dragon research station. The matriarch, who had told them her name was Pyraxis, had survived thanks to human medical intervention. The juveniles played, in the artificial environment chambers below, their laughter-like sounds echoing through the facility. Lisa joined him at the viewport. "The terraforming cleanup is ahead of schedule. The dragon's homeworld should be habitable again within a year." "And the peace negotiations?" "Successful. Turns out when you stop trying to kill each other, communication becomes much easier." She smiled. "Pyraxis wants to name one of her children after you." James watched the young dragons learn to fly under the careful supervision of both human engineers and their dragon parents. 15 years of war because we never thought to ask questions first. "Hey." Lisa placed a hand on his shoulder. "You asked the right question when it mattered. Sometimes that's all it takes to change everything." In the chambers below, a young dragon caught sight of them and waved a wing in greeting. The future, James realized, looked very different now, and it looked brighter for everyone.